just arrived in St Augustine, and the first thing we're going to do is a trolley bus tour.
Where it is now, so you have to exit or enter on the right. Nice to meet you back there. If you are wearing a hat, be careful. It gets a little windy out here. If your hat flies off, we are not allowed to stop to recover your hat. Well, in 1672, they started construction. They didn't finish, of course, until 1695. 23 years in the making, with over 400,000 blocks of coquina just in the port alone.
And here we are in beautiful St Augustine, and we're going to visit a castle. It won't be fly, drive, explore without popping in a few castles. So this is the Castillo de San Marcos, a Spanish castle from 1672. I'll have to check that and get back to you. By the way, I must apologise for my shiny head. It's really hot. I'm not complaining. I'll be going back to Wales soon. So let's go take a look. I think it's time to go up to the battlements and ward off any pirates. They come over here with their illegal copies of DVDs. Talking of pirates, I found one behind me. There she is. Ah, there we are. From the high seas of Bridgend.
It's rough in those parts.
This tower was used for sending signals across the bay. There used to be another tower on the other side, and they could send messages. And it overlooks the waterway here. And a few minutes ago, there were a couple of dolphins playing around. They're probably camera shy, or they want a big fee. I was right. The castle was started in 1672. That makes it one of the oldest structures in North America. By the way, I'm not reading this, I've memorised it all. As it appears today, it was finished in 1756. And they didn't have air conditioning in 1756, and they still haven't got it now. Tip, if you want to get some air conditioning, go to the restrooms, they've got it. But anyway, it's really interesting down there, and that room is a room by the powder room where they used to keep the gunpowder. The access is just a little square, you have to go on your hands and feet to get in. So let's go that way. This is the powder room. It's where they used to keep the gunpowder. Now, there's a little hole there. There's only one thing to do when you see a little hole, is crawl through it. Oh! Just like a big chamber. And no way out. Except the way we came in. Like most rooms.
The Spanish built these streets narrow because they thought it helped funnel the sea breeze towards the center of town and help keep the town cool. Now we're coming up to our next stop, which is the St. George Street stop.
Hello, and now we're at the oldest street in St Augustine, and we're going to see the old Spanish military hospital. Is that right, Mel?
That's correct.
That is correct. Confirmation from Melissa, who has the schedule. So let's go. Have we cooled down yet?
A little bit. It's quite warm.
Yeah.
We're going in that hospital.
Yeah. Not as inpatients, just as visitors. My new friend Pedro from Cadiz. You could be a relation. On my DNA test, apparently I've got some Spanish connections. That's why I sleep all afternoon. Now, yeah. Do you need a false leg?
What's that?
Never know, could come in useful.
Before we get started with the surgery, I'd like to give you a little bit of background information as to where we're working with. For one, Spanish come in. They're here 1565. They're here for 200 years until 1763 when those pesky Brits show up. We're not amputation happy. It's not, oh, I got a paper cut, let me go cut it off. Rather, amputation is often our last choice, our last resort, but it is just the same our best choice. Play a game of connected dots, coming through and around like so. By doing that, you're doing two things. One, opening up the arm and tissues, and two, removing any subcutaneous tissues, anything below the skin. Then we'll come in with a Catlin blade, double-edged straight knife. We're going to cut and remove all of our interosseous tendons and ligaments, everything in between the radius, and you all know, make your fingers move. We don't want those getting caught in the teeth of the bone saw. Now the bone saw, very primitive in nature, but keep this in mind, those teeth are always razor sharp. 30 to 60 seconds is all it took of smooth, evenly applied pressure for that arm to come off.
This was one of the best hotels in the world. Had electricity in every room, had hot and cold running water in every room. Now when Henry built this hotel, he spared no expense. He hired Louis Comfort Tiffany to design, build, and install stained glass windows in the building. And if you look over here on the right, you'll see the rotunda. You'll see the largest installation of installed Tiffany glass in the world. There's 79 Tiffany stained glass windows right there behind bulletproof glass, inside and out.
Would have been quite a nice place to stay in this day.
And 60% of all your flavor in all bourbons come from the barrels that you use. So this is our double cask bourbon.
This is the classic bourbon. This is the one that was in the old fashioned. 93.8 proof. Very smooth for that high of a proof. Want to try some bourbon?
It's like an old fashioned. Very good. I like old fashions.
Yeah. Quite married to
Yes, that is. I'm married to you, actually.
Then we'll be headed over to the old jail. It's the most haunted building in all of St. Augustine. Yeah. Now, both of these spots are active with paranormal activity, so we should have a good ghostly time this evening. This is a very old building.
But on that day, two other men hanged. Eugene Baxter and Tom White. Triple hanging in St. Augustine on May 31st, 1912. And the last time this town saw a public hanging. Now I guess once you see three bodies drop at once, the town loses its taste for hanging. George Hawkins waited for the right moment to strike. Took out his knife and he carved Charles Joseph Naval to neck. And that ain't the worst thing he done. He reached in and he pulled out that man's heart.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
And he rode his horse and buggy deeper into the woods.
Careful on the stairs now.
So I searched him out and I shot him dead. Damn, my hanging came soon enough. On that day, I was so sick, but if you read in them rule books, they tell you you cannot hang a sick man. No.
Charlie! Charlie, come back and get us!
I'm in the witness protection program, as I state, and very proud to say I teach at Flagler College. So we're going to do a bit of French. We're going to do a little bit of Cuban. We're doing chicken. Did I hear chicken was okay?
Chicken's fine.
Perfect. Okay. You know, food tours to do in St. Augustine. Well, you picked the right one. Okay. Definitely picked the right one. There are several options that you have, but trust me, this is the best one.
Okay.
So when this opened in 1889, it had the world's largest indoor swimming pool. This door would not have been here. You'd be walking in water already. Isn't it beautiful? Look at this. It had trapeze artists that performed. This was the subsidiary hotel, if you will, to Flagler's Ponce de Leon across the street. This is the playground for the rich. What are you doing? So how cool is this place? Isn't this just phenomenal? You take the banisters or handrail off of the stairs, and you take out that mezzanine railing, and you're right back to what it was in 1889 when it opened. It is made in garlic, white wine, butter, and olive oil. The quintessential citrus of the Mediterranean, since you've been to Mallorca, you know is a lemon. Ever had a limoncello?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. When I'm in Italy or Sicily, it's the last thing. Get those little holes that are in there. Okay, so just dig the whole thing out.
don't know
of
if I've
there.
ever had
There you go, put it on the
snails.
side, on the plate. Okay. Now take the toast point and shove it. Take the soft end of it right there and shove it down in that liquid.
I see.
Soak up as much.
Oh, right.
I mean, soak
Okay.
it until you can't get any more out of it.
Okay.
It's not real old, but we do have cotton growing around about 1,000 pounds.
So this is Palm Row.
We don't really like what.
These buildings went up at roughly the same time that the Ponce de Leon is being built. This is high rent district right here. Hey Darius, how you doing? We're going to his place now. So enjoy it because we're going to come back to it.
We went to the Spanish hospital. It's amazing.
Isn't that fun?
It's really good.
The little thing that they do when they do the demonstration with all the medical instruments,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty kidding you. You'll never want to eat anything else again. I know I've built these things up, but trust me, I am not kidding you. I want to wine and dine and enjoy myself as the days pass by. Wonderful, thank you. Just look at the side of it, the layers.
It's nice.
Put it together. It's so
Really good. I like the mustard in it.
And let's do some chocolate, shall we? And then maybe not. I knew you wouldn't lock us out.
No, not permanently anyway. Hi folks, how are you?
Hi.
Welcome to Claude's. Claude's Chocolates was established over 10 years ago here in St. Augustine. Mr. Claude is a retired French chef, and everything in the store, with the exception of the Jelly Bellies, is made in our kitchens.
So we've just finished the food tour in St Augustine with chocolate, and I'm completely stuffed. But I did refrain from having too much wine. Mel's already heading for the hotel and happy hour. So anyway, it was a good trip. There was a lot of food. Well, we're going to see St Augustine Lighthouse. It's around here somewhere. Where could it be? Behind the trees.
My friends, our next stop is the archaeological villages that used to be known as the villages of Savoy, an old Indian village, now turned into the Fountain of Youth, a real archaeological and historical park. So this is your destination.
Where are we going now, Mel?
The Fountain of Youth.
The Fountain of Youth. It's like a Hammer film, like She.
Yeah, we'll go
So-
in and come out looking
Probably
younger.
at least an hour older, probably. What is the Fountain of Youth? Here's a clue. America's first colony. When the Spaniard. Hello, I'm Ponce de Leon. I've come to invade. What sort of accent is that? I'm sure he didn't speak like that. I'm gonna have a drink from the Fountain of Youth. I don't need it, obviously.
Oh yes, you do.
Is it working?
No.
Do you think, Mel?
No?
I think the Fountain of Youth may not work. I think I need the really extreme plastic surgeon of youth to get any results. Hello, I'm Ponce de Leon. I think I've got my head stuck.
Can we go now?
And we'll try and concentrate. Oh, not too bad. Thank you.
Is a replica of a gun that would have been here in 1565. It's what's known as a breech-charged, muzzle-loaded 6-pound cannon. That's a lot of information, but what it means is that 900-pound cannon can shoot something similar to this. It's a solid 6-pound iron cannonball.
Por España! Buenos!
And that's how it was done.
Anyway, that was St Augustine. It's really interesting. It's nothing like the Florida we knew, nothing like the Orlando or those sprawling massive holiday homes. It's really interesting, it's really old. It's like the town itself is like a European town. You know, it's got narrow streets, old buildings, you can walk everywhere. Definitely worth a visit. I said it's only 2 hours from the centre of Orlando, so there's no reason why not to.